Earlier this year, I told myself I wanna get better at cinematography. So I learned and watched so many videos about how to get better. And you know the very first thing you should know if you're thinking about becoming a cinematographer? Lighting. I used to think that my videos would be so much cinematic if I had that red camera, those anamorphic lenses, those filters, but this couldn't be further from the truth. The real difference between a good shot and cinematic shot is the use of lights. How you can add depth by adding or subtracting the light from your scenes and make it look like what most people like to call a cinematic shot. So today let's talk about 5 different lighting techniques you can use in your scenes to make them look cinematic. But before we dive into that, I wanna say that making a shot look cinematic is not enough. Cinematography should be motivated by the story, and lighting should always serve the purpose. If you think about the story before lighting the scene, at the very least you will think about the right amount of darkness and brightness, what time of day to shoot your scenes, and what colors your scenes will look like. I truly believe that lighting decides in which world you wanna put your audience in while they watch your videos or movies. And it's the job of cinematographer to light every scene according to the story and match the theme of the story. So today we'll discuss 5 different ways you can light your subject without breaking the bank, and we're gonna use just one light to light all of our 5 scenes, so it's just convenient for everyone. I also have one light, so there's that. So the light we are using today is Godox VL300 Mark II. This is a daylight, meaning no bicolor, and this is perfect for me because if I want to make it look like a certain color, I'll use gels. If you also have a daylight, look into gels. And now let's talk about the very first technique you can use to light your scenes. This is called reverse lighting, where you put the light behind the subject at 45 degrees angle rather than behind the camera. This also means that the best lit portion of your subject won't be visible to the camera, creating a very emotive scene. This lighting produces very soft shadows to the subject and add an amazing sense of depth to the shot. This method is very commonly used in Hollywood and Bollywood, and it gives the illusion of thinner face or body than it actually is. This is such a great lighting technique to add that filmic look to your videos. Just make sure you never set up your camera on the same side where you set up your light. Nothing will scream more immature than this, unless your script demands it. Now let's move on to the second lighting technique. DPs have used this method ever since they started making movies. This lighting technique is most commonly used for the very important shots of the movies, just for the cinematic touch. To achieve this look, you have to place your light behind the subject to highlight them from the back. There are many different ways you can do this. You can either create a silhouette by having the face completely in shadows, or you can use this lighting technique to reveal the face of your protagonist of the story, again as your story demands. And this is one of my favorite ways to light the subject. I'm not gonna lie, I hate to have to say this, but I was very skeptical about this next look until I saw the final product. And the lighting technique I'm talking about is the top-down lighting, and it is exactly as it sounds. To achieve this lighting, you light the subject from the top, creating these extreme shadows on the face. Top-down lighting is a good way to give your subject that sinister, dark, villain kinda look. But keep in mind, this creates a very strong contrast, hence not suitable for most scenes. This is actually the reason you might have heard that the best time for photoshoot is either at sunrise or sunset, because at noon the sun will be on top of you, creating these extreme shadows on your face. Not a very pleasant look. This lighting technique is used by DPs to give the character mysterious look, and you can also decrease the contrast by adding the bounce below your subject. Now let's talk about the fourth lighting technique you can use, and the most commonly used lighting technique by all of the YouTubers that you watch. This is most commonly used in Hollywood and Bollywood, and the lighting I'm talking about is the Rembrant Look. The reason they call it the Rembrant Look is because of the Dutch painter called Rembrandt. Hermanzoon. I'm pretty sure I have not pronounced this gentleman's name correctly, so my apologies. But anyway, the way he painted shadows in his paintings, creating the upside down triangle on the cheek, casting by the nose, turned into the very basics of cinematic look in history. Who would have thought? To achieve this effect, all you have to do is place your light at the 45 degrees to your subject and look for the triangle. If you can see the triangle at your subject face, you have nailed the Rembrant look. This lighting creates a very smooth and nice shadows to the face. And let me tell you this, I have ruined movies for you, because after watching this video you won't be able to enjoy them as before, because now you'll pick up lighting techniques in the movies. Oh, that's the Rembrant look, that's the reverse lighting, top down, easy. I have ruined movies for you, and this is for the better cause, right? Anyway, the next lighting technique is called split lighting, and it is also exactly as it sounds. Split lighting literally splits the light side and dark side of your subject. To achieve this, all you have to do is place your light either at the right side or left side of your subject at approximately 90-degree angle. I can definitely see this technique used in a true crime documentary or with someone who has a split personality. In case you haven't watched The Fight Club, give it a watch. It's a really good movie, and they have used this lighting technique to show the split personality of the protagonist of the story. And if you were already planning on watching it, don't worry, I'm not giving you any spoilers. Now, believe it or not, all the techniques that we have talked about are very basic. We haven't even scratched the surface.
This is only the beginning.
But having these basic techniques clear in the very start is what's gonna help you move to the advanced techniques in future. And believe me, if you weren't already using these techniques already, I highly recommend you to use them in your next project. These techniques will help you tell your story in a better way. I'm also gonna make a video about different types of lights, when to use which light, 3 light setup, what is eye light, what is catch light. We're gonna talk about all of these things and much more. Also, I wanna take this opportunity and say thank you to all of you who watched my previous video and said so many nice things in the comment section. And some of you even reached out to me on Instagram, which is pretty wild considering how many subscribers I have here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, recently I made a video on how to film yourself. If you're in that sport and you wanna learn something like that, I'll leave the first link in the description. Give it a watch. Alright guys, thanks for watching. My name is Rohit. I'm 20 something years old. If you liked anything from the video, if you learned anything from the video, consider hitting subscribe and join me on this journey on trying to do better every day. I thank you.